Welcome to Made for Glory. I am Father Oskari.
And I am Pablo.
So Pablo and I are going to listen to a Swedish band today called Sabaton.
Love Sabaton.
You love them?
Yes.
Do you know this song? It's called The Last Stand. So let's have a look. I wanted to play it to you and let's see if you've heard it before.
I think I've heard it before, but I can't remember it.
It's the first song by Sabaton that I've heard and I was quite impressed. So let's just go for it and then
Brilliant.
commentate.
Let's do it. It's so epic.
They're pure epic.
Yes.
No.
You should get goosebumps, like, yes!
It's this sort of disco style metal, military metal.
In the heart of the Holy See, in the home of Christianity, the seat of power is indeed.
Interesting. I don't think I've heard the lyrics before.
They've been abandoned by the Lord. The fall from grace will pave their path to damnation. They're the 189 in the service of heaven. They're protecting the holy line. It was 1527. Give their lives on the steps to heaven. Thy will be done. For the grace, for the might of our Lord. For the home of the holy, for the faith, for the way of the sword, give the light so holy. For the grace, for the might of our Lord, in the name of His glory. For the faith, for the way of the sword, come and tell the story again.
First impressions. I mean, you heard the song, right?
I've heard the song before, but I didn't remember the lyrics.
Yeah,
like, as I
so
said, I
it's
heard
really
it a while
interesting.
back. I mean, the thing is, I love Sabaton because, you know, it's kind of epic, grand, like, you know, as you were saying, just kind of like, yes!
Yeah. But it's so cool that they've got this song about like the protection of
They
the
do like the
Vatican
history,
and
like
so-
it's interesting that,
Yeah.
and it's interesting that they're reflecting the element of,
Yeah.
as you said, the protection of the faith, the papacy, presumably.
papacy. Yeah,
So
exactly.
1527.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what historical.
Yeah, the sort of sack of Rome.
Sack of Rome,
Yeah.
obviously
Around the time.
1500s, very messy time in Europe, you know, with all sorts of, you know, issues and conflicts, like the Reformation and so on. But I have to say, Sabaton is just great when it comes to grandeur, like, you know, the epicness of the sound. It's just great. It just reminds me a lot of power metal in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, which it was very much my thing. And
Like
I
mine
really,
as well.
exactly. So I can imagine them listening to, you know, to stuff like Stratovarius and like, you know, Sonata Arctica and so on, and just going back and just like, yes. Brilliant.
On the Garden of 42, along the secret avenue, Castel Sant'Angelo is
It's the
That is actually true, isn't
yeah,
it?
right. That's the idea. So saving the Pope
Yes.
through that secret passage there.
So there is a passage that basically goes from the sort of St. Peter's all the way to Castel Sant'Angelo, which is, you know, it's a fair while. And apparently, you know, the Pope could actually also use that passage with on a horse.
Okay.
So, you know, it's interesting that there was that secret sort of avenue. So, yeah, it's true.
They're the gods of the Holy See. They're the gods of Christianity. The part of history is paid with salvation. They're the 189 in the service of heaven. They're protecting the holy line. It was 1527. Give their lives on the steps to heaven. Thy will be done. For the grace, for the might of our Lord. For the home of the holy. For the faith, for the way of the sword, give the light so holy. For the grace, for the might of our Lord, in the name of His glory. For the faith, for the way of the sword, come and tell the story again.
It's
love
a
this.
great, it's a great solo.
It's the sort of Baroque style brought to metal again. But this is okay. This is the thing that I especially laugh about, like Sabaton, because they combine the power metal with the sort of Eurodance disco style of the 80s. There are a couple of other
But they
bands
probably
that do
have
that.
a laugh about it, like with it.
I
don't
love
they?
it because it's so fun. Because it's the sort of it's almost they were like the two opposite genres,
Yeah.
back then.
Yes.
When I was a teenager, disco, it was the insult. to,
Yeah.
music.
You wouldn't listen to disco if you were into metal or whatever.
But
And
this-
then here they are, right?
Beast in Black is another one, the
Yes.
Finnish band that they combine it,
Yes.
and it just always makes me laugh because
Yes.
it's beautiful and funny, and it's just making kind of
Yeah,
a
they're
joke
just
out
having
of the sort of categories.
exactly.
like, so-
They're just having a laugh, aren't they?
yeah, but the solo is interesting. Like what I said about the idea we've discussed before. Like metal often is a bit like classical music after the invention of electricity.
That's right. That's
so
right.
yeah, you get the similar style.
Yes.
This is echoes of Bach and
You
sort
know,
of,
it's interesting you mentioned Bach because recently I was listening how Sting, he listens to, Sting, the famous
yeah.
singer and so on. They listen to Bach whenever they're not playing.
Really?
Because they find him so inspiring
Yeah.
when it comes to coming up with difficult textures and obviously melodies and patterns and structures and so on. But you can very much see Bach as well, of course,
Absolutely.
in metal, like,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
power metal and so on, Ingrid
Totally.
Malmsteen and so on, that is just so classical when it comes to the sort of the melody.
yeah. So they shift it, and then it goes. This synthesizes the sound.
They probably had it at home, it's like...
Also the random what is that?
That doesn't quite make sense, does it? Reincarnation.
Well-
Christians don't believe in reincarnation.
Well, we believe in the real reincarnation, which is resurrection. So it's,
Resurrection.
true-
Here you have it.
being born to new life, eternal life. So heaven is your destination. That's the main thing. And then the modulation. Oh, I love it. So obviously the Swiss Guards, that's the sort of
Fair enough.
story. Yeah.
Just going back to one of the lines, Father Oskari, what about the idea of the way of the sword?
Mm-hmm.
When people talk about, wars, holy wars that have come up because of religion.
Sure.
What about that?
What about that? I mean, that's a big question.
Yeah,
Do you want like 5 hours? Or what?
exactly. How long we got? It's just sometimes it's something that humanists might mention or
Okay.
a criticism against religion of any
Right,
type.
fair enough, fair
that the violence that has come up as a consequence of some religions.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely.
What is? I mean, obviously, it's a very complex aspect, and certainly
It's complex, and obviously, so you have so many different dimensions to it. I mean, one is that religion is something, as a phenomenon touches upon such deep aspects of human existence, then different aspects of human existence also play out in religion, so it can be quite nasty and so on. There's the other question, like the idea of peace as the sort of really ideal for society and everything is, in some sense, it's ancient, but at the same time, it's a deeply Christian idea, Jewish Christian idea. But it's always been in the background, kind of the tension between, like, also fighting for justice,
what is right, justice,
and also divine punishment of sins and so on. And within Christianity also it's a tension, because you have some views in favor of like really extreme pacifism, and Christ in a sense gives some example of that. But then you have other views saying, well, actually, we do need to fight for what is just and so also, and not just wait for God to sort of do some miracles to save those who are unjustly oppressed or attacked or destroyed or whatever. So it's a tricky one. And I personally like the fact that in the Christian tradition, especially in the Catholic tradition, we don't have very clear answers to all of those tensions. Like, there are certain broad principles, but they may play out in different ways in history. And we're sort of learning and trying to... Because, for example, you think about wars now, war in Ukraine, whatever. Well, I think on the whole, it's just and the right thing and a righteous thing to defend a country. And here also, the Swiss Guard, in principle, okay, they're doing the right thing, protecting the papacy and so on against sort of unjust aggression. Whether you want to glorify that, okay, that can become problematic.
I guess there's the added layer, of course, that indeed there are religious people that have done wrongs.
Sure.
But, you know, it's obviously quite serious to attribute your wrongdoings onto, or to use religion for a wrongdoing, right?
Yeah, that's much more serious.
Which, of course, it's sad when that happens. And certainly, as Christians, that's why one, I guess, has the responsibility to live up to the name of what it means to be a disciple of Christ.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Just to perhaps finish, what about... I've always amazed at the amount of heavy metal bands that there are in Scandinavia. You're, of course, from Finland. So why are there so many bands? Like, you know, Sabaton, of course, from Sweden.
I'm sure it's the dark winter.
There's nothing to do.
I'm pretty sure that's one factor. I mean, there's something about the sort of, the climate and everything. I mean, music generally, it's such a big element of the culture.
Yes.
Almost everyone, not everyone, but like, if you go to Spain, most people play football or something.
Yeah.
In Finland, most people play some instruments.
Yes,
you know?
yeah. And they're so like super technical. Like,
So that's one thing.
And I guess it's also a way of expressing oneself.
Yeah. And it's Finland in particular, but I think all the Nordic countries share a certain kind of, especially young men, they share a certain difficulty of expressing themselves. They can be very inhibited. And so music can be a way kind of channeling those sort of thoughts and emotions and sort of difficulties. And I think that can express itself especially powerfully in sort of metal.
Because it's a way of kind of like expressing very complex processes. In
exactly.
In a kind of like letting it go,
tension.
right?
So I think that's probably one reason.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. See you soon.
See you.